Your co-defendants start to flip. Your defense will quickly start to slip. That's why it's sounding like you're in for sweet-ass pounding when you're in prison for the longest time. Whoa, the longest, for the longest time. Whoa, the longest, for the longest. Watch when Rudy's hair begins to drip next to Jenna when he lets one rip. She's so devoted. Last time his farts gave her COVID. They'll be in prison for the longest time.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. As usual, there's probably going to be some sensitive information in my video, and yeah, there's always a warning. Always. That's how it is. All right. So, how is that drama working for you? Oh my gosh. At the end of this video, I've put a mashup of all of the great House of Representatives and all of their speeches and what they said and how we just rah. Oh my gosh, I laughed so much. Anyhow, there's been a few people. I don't know if it's because I am an ambassador for Viore, which is, there's a link in underneath this video in my comments, like, you know what I'm talking about. Not in the chat, but in the comments underneath this video, there's a link for Viore for the shampoo bars and the shampoo conditioners, and you can get body soap, all that good stuff. Okay, so I don't know if it's because I'm an ambassador, but I've been getting a flood of information about, or questions about my hair care, my makeup, all that good stuff. So I'm going to briefly answer a few questions. Number one, that's the shampoo I use, is the Viore shampoo bar and conditioner. Now, I don't really care for the bar part of the conditioner. So what I do is I have saved one of my old conditioner bottles and I kind of shave it and I put it into this bottle and add water to it. And that really, really works for me and it lasts forever. You can do that with the shampoo as well. But I prefer the shampoo bar where I use it. Anyhow, the other question is what do I do after I shampoo my hair and all that get out? I use a heavy gel. It really doesn't matter which heavy gel you use unless you, I mean, I have a lot of hair and I have curly hair. So without the heavy gel, I become this. It's quite entertaining, actually. But yeah, my hair becomes this. If any curly headed people ever been in a humid spot, they know exactly what I'm talking about. That's what it does without any heavy gel. Now, if you have thin hair, I highly recommend mousse, but anyhow, so that's what I do. And then the most important thing is that I air dry my hair. Now, most people don't have the time or take the time to air dry their hair. However, mine takes about an hour to dry to the point where I can style it. I am an early riser. I've always been an early riser. I've always been somebody who can survive off of 5 or 6 hours of sleep. I have no idea why. I have none. That's been my body forever, as long as I can remember. When I was a teenager or smaller, I used to stay up really, really, really late at night and then go to sleep around 12 or whatever and sleep until 6 or 7 in the morning. But I kind of switched that when I got older, around 25 years old. Like, that's old. Such a baby. But anyhow, around 25 years old, I probably accumulated a lot of work that I had to get up really early for, and this, that, and the other. That's probably where the change came from. But I now get up real early. I'm a 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning type of person. And so I can easily take my shower at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning and then have an hour or whatever to dry my hair prior to getting out into society or going to work, whatever. So I do that. And then what I do, the only thing I blow dry it a little bit just to get the dampness underneath because it still stays damp. I use a brush to kind of straighten out my bangs a little, and then I use a curling iron just to bump it. Not that it ever behaves itself. It does whatever it wants to do, but every once in a while I get a good bang. Like today is pretty good, but not always. Anyhow, there's the hair care. Now, the makeup. You know who Bailey Sarian is? Yeah, Bailey Sarian, who does murder mysteries and makeup. If you haven't followed her on YouTube, go do it. Lovely. She is so funny. Anywho, I started watching that. I'm addicted to murder mysteries and things like that. I love them. It's not really mysteries. They're like stories, the completion of the whole story when they get convicted and everything. So it's not really a mystery. Anyhow, I watch her as she's telling her story and how she's doing her makeup. That's kind of how I learned a little bit about makeup. I'm not anywhere near a professional. I do what I can do. I usually use the bare minimum of makeup to get a beauty face makeup, whatever. Anyhow, so there. Anybody have any questions about that? That's what I do. And then there was a third question. Would you like to do tarot and makeup? I thought, well, that's probably fun. However, I'm not interested in that. So there's another tarot reader that's interested in that because my makeup routine will never change, right? I'm not into the dramatic looks or anything like that. I'm just going for a little paint as possible just to make it look nice. So there's that. Anywho, stay tuned. And for some readings, we're going to get some good ones coming in, including Matt Gates. Apparently tomorrow, it's tomorrow, Tuesday, he's going to put on the floor for Kevin McCarthy to be vacated. We're going to look into that. Now, I've heard that the Democrats are not going to save him, but, let's see what the cards say. I can only imagine the Democrats going up to Kevin McCarthy and going, you know what? Let's fund Ukraine fully and we'll save your job. I don't know if they can do it over and over. I thought maybe this is you could do it like one time. This is like this is Matt Gates's only time to get Kevin McCarthy out of his seat. I don't know. Maybe somebody knows. Anywho, I'll be back. All right. So first up on the chopping block, like I did that. Anywho, I am going to read on the Vatican. Here is a little snippet, is the reason why I want to read on this right here.
What on earth is going on over at the Vatican? On the very same day that a Jesuit priest was interviewed by the Catholic news agency, they published an article saying, celibacy isn't the problem. That's not what's causing the sexual abuse. This person's an expert on combating sexual abuse in the Catholic Church. On that very same day, a priest was arrested for attacking a 70-year-old parishioner. And another defraud priest in Michigan was arrested for starting a relationship, he thought, with a 15-year-old boy. On that same day, the Archdiocese of Baltimore, facing the possibility, not the reality, just the possibility of lawsuits by victims of sexual abuse by priests and other church employees. That archdiocese, to avoid having to pay for the misconduct of their priests, filed for bankruptcy protection. Again, even though their lawsuits haven't been filed yet. And all this follows a different Catholic official who issued a statement trying to reassure the public and to reassure the parishioners that he says sexual abuse in the church, that's a thing of the past. Now, it is certainly true that in the data that I've been collecting, evangelical pastors have been far outpacing the Catholic priests in making the news for sexual crimes against children. But that's not to say that Catholic priests are falling off the map. Either way, the dodge of bankruptcy protection is becoming the one unifying sacrament that seems to be unifying all the Catholic archdioceses. The Baltimore one, that may be the most recent, but it doesn't at all look like it's going to be the last.
And if you're not following her on TikTok, if you're on TikTok, go follow her. She gives updates on all of this information, so she keeps us informed. However, why would you need insurance? But I'm going to do a reading. I'm going to do a Celtic cross on that and see what's going on. I have a feeling. This is my feeling and this is my thought, and we're going to confirm it or whatever with the cards. I have a feeling that the Catholic Church is going down, and it's going down hard. Okay, now everybody in here that just listened to that word or listened to me say that, going, no, for years and years and years and years, it's going to take a big, huge power, bigger than ourselves to take that down. Well, I believe we're here. Now, do I think it's going to come down tomorrow? No. Do I think it's about a year? No. I think it's going to be a slow Chinese torture drip of just literally dismantling this Catholic Church, Vatican, all of it. They've been in power too long. And with all things powerful, there's always an ending. And my gut, which is ran by spirit, influenced by spirit, is telling me we are at the end of this Catholic Church, Vatican power struggle hold that they have been enjoying for hundreds of years. So I'm going to do a Celtic cross on that. So I just pause so that I can like shuffle, 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 and shuffle so it doesn't bore you. But a remote view is coming through. So I'm just going to close my eyes and see what I see. It's very interesting. What I saw before a vision coming through is tunnels, again, tunnels with all of the priests that are going through the tunnels. Now, I know that they exist, and I know that this is nothing new for us, but they're in line. Like there's thousands of them walking through a tunnel. So I am going to close my eyes and see what that's about. So if you hear dogs, I'm sorry. It's, Sunday fun time for them. So, oh, all right. I'm following them. I'm in this tunnel. It looks like it's like in Rome, under the tunnel, made out of white bricks, big bricks, boulders maybe. So we're running through. Each of them has, well, the big guy, the one that's leading them, has that candle thing. I'm not Catholic, so if I get all of these words wrong, pray for it. So anyways, he's holding that candle thing with a whole bunch of candles on it, like that staff thing that has a whole bunch of candles on it. He's the leader, and everybody behind him has like a torch. Like a staff with a torch is literally a torch, that every one of them. And they're following through this tunnel. I'm getting sick. So my feeling is I'm getting really, really, really sick. So this may be the representation of the Catholic Church being really, really sick, because I'm feeling nauseous. I'm feeling short of breath. I feel, like dying sick. It's weird. Okay. They're all running through. Okay, so the first guy has the normal Catholic robe on that we all see on TV, but everybody else is in like a loincloth. Like they're all in this loincloth. Now, They're not children, they are men, so let's clarify that. Why do they all look like in a loincloth? And the one that it drapes over their shoulders and goes around their privates. And they're all running behind him with torches. Okay, I'm just gonna follow. Just describing the scene. I'm gonna follow, 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 follow. And they go through this tunnel, and now they're going deeper. Stairs go deeper. It goes down, and then it goes down, and then it goes down. I mean, they're literally going deeper and deeper. Goes on forever. The stairs are going down. And they're like hundreds of men following them like this. Okay, so we're down at the bottom. There is water lapping up on where we're walking. Sorry. There's water lapping up on where we're walking. So I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know how deep we have to go for this kind of water. It's clear water. It's not murky or muddy. Why are we down here? Oh no. Okay. So now each and every one of those men are literally going into this water and disappearing. Maybe somebody who is Catholic understands this scene way more than I do. They're going into this water and disappearing. I mean, I'm looking in the water and I cannot see them. Once their head goes under, their body disappears. They're gone. What the heck is going on? And they're all just following suit. I mean, nobody is questioning this. Nobody's saying no. It's almost like they were ready for this, or they're almost like they're happy to be there, kind of a thing. I don't know. All right, I'm coming out of there because I'm just watching men just disappear. What the fuck is? So there's something else that in the vision, the water is clear, but it's like aqua color. So the colors in my visions really mean something. So I always tell you what color it is. And the guy with the candles is standing right next to where all of the men are walking into the water. Okay. Let's do a Celtic cross and see what's going on. Here we go. Sorry about the doggies. I'm still thinking on it. I'm still asking questions what the meaning is. The sacrifice of so many people, the lies, the deceit, the cover up, the maybe these men represent evidence. They're definitely, oh my gosh. Look. This represents the Catholic Church. Come on. I am not trying to offend anybody who belongs to the Catholic Church. This is not what this is about whatsoever. Okay? I've never been. I only see it on TV. That's all I know about the Catholic Church and what I read. But this is the card that I throw up first to represent the Catholic Church. Okay. Oh my goodness. What goes over top of it? Self-imposed problems. Now, I remember back in the day, somebody who was talking about the Catholic Church, and they literally told me that they created this problem with priests not being able to marry and, you know, and do all of that they created a problem within that culture because they restricted their very natural and God-given, spirit-given, whatever, ability to want to have a intimate reaction with another human being. I remember somebody telling me about that, and I thought, yeah, I think they did. And then they created a problem where all of the schmedos, you know what I'm talking about, I don't want to be taken down, all the schmedos could hide. I remember talking to somebody about that. I'm like, that would make sense. The reason why the other card here, and then the self-imposed problems that they have created within their own culture. Beware of paralysis and analysis. Right now, they're not doing anything. The paralysis. They're not doing anything about it. Not taking care of business, changing their ways. All of that. Now we're into analysis. We're watching you, exposing you. And people are talking. Ace of Cups is at the base. Therefore, a new beginning, a creative new beginning. So Ace of Cups, the emotional distress that they're feeling of trying to reinvent this church. They're trying to literally rebirth themselves through emotional chaos and emotional torment. Remember we were talking about, I feel like there's an end to this church. Fast moving. We may see it faster than we are. They know that their ending is coming. They know that they are on the final hour. When I just said that, I saw the final hour. I just saw the earth when it was being destroyed, the dinosaurs. That was the vision I just got when I said they on their final hour, was the asteroids hitting the earth and the dinosaurs dying and the earth being transformed. Okay. Prior to this, they had some, people who joined the church and stuff like that. They did have some really, really good things, some really good years, some really good things coming out of it. Okay, that's coming into it. Now let's go forward. The lies, the deceit. Oh, the cunning. To the words I hear, cunning to throats the enemy. I know you guys know that word. Stop pretending like you don't know what I'm talking about. Sidestep the obstacle. They cannot sidestep that obstacle and that problem anymore. It is over. This is not the time. This is not the era. This is not the people. Everybody, they cannot sidestep it anymore. The Three of Pentacles. Coming together, they're trying to figure it out. Teamwork, teaching them differently. But they are delusional. They can't do it. They're creating too many other options and they're delusional about them. None of them is working, has worked, is going to work. Wishful thinking that things are going to go. Now this one's really nice. The Empress shows up, the abundance. Now, this one is spirit influenced, right? So what they're going to do is the abundance of reaping the rewards, like grounding themselves, coming down to earth, coming into reality. Stop with all of your touting and all of that. The abundance of information coming at them is where they need to be. But they don't want it. They're in apathy right now. They are being offered a way out, but they're not taking it. They don't want the ending, so they're trying to like, but I don't want the ending. All right. Oh my. You know, the Catholic Church is not getting very good cards. Just saying. Right here, 5 of Swords. The betrayal, the loss, the defeat. Again, another ending card. The unhealthiness. This is unhealthy. Unhealthy competition, I guess is what they would call it. Empty victories. So they're nothing. Look at this. Their 12th house is walking away, withdrawing. That's their only option, is withdrawing. So between my vision, my remote view, my vision, and the cards, my gut is telling me that the Catholic Church is on its final hurrah, its final season of its life. No, I don't have no idea how long that's going to last, but we are in it. So. All right, so we have another demon to talk about, Matt Gaetz, and another demon, Kevin McCarthy. You know, their feud continues. What are we on? Season 2, episode 4? That's what we're on right now. So in episode 4, Kevin McCarthy, of course, relents. And he gets the Democrats on board so that he can pass something. If you don't remember, if you do remember, way back when I was doing the cards right before Congress went into session after the Republicans won the majority, the slim majority, I said in my cards, they will need the Democratic votes to do any work. I remember that. And here we are. They need the Democrats to move and do and pass anything, pretty much. They cannot come together. So anywho, which I heard from AOC that MTG stormed off in a great big old huge huffy fit. And then, of course, she got wind of the fire alarm being pulled, which I have investigated this. And the last I reported what he had told, this is a totally different building. This wasn't even in the Capitol. He was going down the stairs trying to get out a building or out a door, and he walked over. He thought it was like a button or something like that he could push to get out this door. Anywho, he was just confused. So all of that nonsense from her is just blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about that instead of how the Republicans just relented and lost in the House of Representatives because of Kevin McCarthy. You know what I mean? She's just trying to tout again something different. Distract. Anyhow, I know I'm preaching to the choir. So back to Matt Gaetz. So Matt Gaetz, and here's something.
The only way Kevin McCarthy is Speaker of the House at the end of this coming week is if Democrats bail him out.
So you have been threatening to topple McCarthy, issue a motion to vacate the speakership if he worked with Democrats to fund the government with a clean CR, clean government spending bill, which is exactly what he did on Friday and Saturday. The House gavels back in tomorrow at noon. Are you going to make a motion to vacate?
Speaker McCarthy made an agreement with House conservatives in January, and since then he has been in brazen, repeated material breach of that agreement. This agreement that he made with Democrats to really blow past a lot of the spending guardrails we'd set up is a last straw. And then overnight I learned that Kevin McCarthy had a secret deal with Democrats on Ukraine. So as he was baiting Republicans to vote for a continuing resolution without Ukraine money, saying that we were going to jam the Senate on Ukraine, he then turns around and makes a secret deal. Now, I know you and I probably have different views on U.S. involvement in Ukraine, but however you think about that question, it should be subject to open review, analysis, and not some backroom deal.
So
I do
motion to vacate tomorrow?
I do intend to file a motion to vacate against Speaker McCarthy this week. I think we need to rip off the Band-Aid. I think we need to move on with new leadership that can be trustworthy. Look, the one thing everybody has in common is that nobody trusts Kevin McCarthy. He lied to Biden. He lied to House conservatives. He had appropriators marking to a different number altogether. And the reason we were backed up against the shutdown politics is not a bug of the system. It's a feature. Kevin McCarthy's goal was to make multiple contradictory promises, to delay everything, back us up against shutdown politics, and at the end of the day, blow past the spending guardrails he'd agreed to.
So how many Republicans do you think will be with you in your motion to vacate? Because obviously for people at home who don't know, you need 218 votes to get him out of the speakership. You don't have 218 Republican votes. You're going to need Democrats. Let's start with the Republicans. How many Republicans do you have?
Well, enough so that when you host this show next week, if Kevin McCarthy is still the Speaker of the House, he will be serving at the pleasure of the Democrats. He will be working for the Democrats. The only way Kevin McCarthy is Speaker of the House at the end of this coming week is if Democrats bail him out. Now, they probably will. I actually think that when you believe in nothing, as Kevin McCarthy does, everything's negotiable.
Okay, but
and I think he'll cut a deal with the Democrats.
Let's be honest here, though, because if you succeed in vacating him, you also will have to make a deal with the Democrats. You also will have to get Democratic votes to kick him out.
Absolutely. I will make no deal with Democrats and concede no terms to them. I actually think Democrats should vote against Speaker McCarthy for free. I don't think I should have to deal them
so
anything.
You're not going to cut any deals with him?
Absolutely not. And I don't think that any Republicans that share my view on Speaker McCarthy would cut deals with Democrats. But here's the thing. I'm done owning Kevin McCarthy. Right? We made a deal at the end of in January to allow him to assume the speakership, and I'm not owning him anymore because he doesn't tell the truth. And so if Democrats want to own Kevin McCarthy by bailing him out, I can't stop him, but then he'll be their speaker, not mine.
So let's talk. Well, you just heard Congressman Matt Gaetz say he's going to move to oust McCarthy as speaker this week. If a motion to vacate the chair comes to the floor, how would you vote?
Well, my vote beginning this term for Speaker of the House was for Hakeem Jeffries, and I do not intend on voting for a Republican Speaker of the House, but I believe that it's up to the Republican conference to determine their own leadership and deal with their own problems.
To listen to. Now that you have listened to that, so Matt Gaetz talking and then AOC saying that the Democrats are probably not going to help. Well, I agree with that wholeheartedly. They need to figure out how to govern, and they don't need anybody saving them. I'm on board with that. But let's see what happens. Let's see if Matt Gaetz actually has the votes to remove their own speaker. And will our cards finally come true that the Democrats will be the head of the House of Representatives? Now, wouldn't that be glorious? Just glorious. But let's do this first. Let's see what the cards have to say. I'm going to do 4 on top and then clarifiers to see what the situation says about Matt Gaetz, Kevin McCarthy, and the speaker. Right off the bat, I got the Knight of Wands, the lustful knight going into battle with his staff. Could that be Matt Gaetz? Yeah. So his new adventure, his news who is traveling home and at work, driven goals and things like that he wants. So Matt Gaetz, who's next? The star. I would think that was probably Kevin McCarthy, the star. the hopeful one, the one that was supposed to take them into the promised land. The promised land was riddled with agreements and bribes. His path was not as clear as it should have been. All right, what's next? Oh, darn. The Seven of Swords comes in again. Beware of deceit and betrayal. Beware of deceit and betrayal. So Kevin McCarthy lied, like I said a long time ago in my cards. Kevin McCarthy has no plans on fulfilling his commitments to those who bribed him to get the speakership. He had no. He had no intentions of doing that. He's like, I'm in power now. Y'all can just, So now, betrayal. Matt Gaetz, the betrayer. Coming up next. Satisfaction and abundance. What does that mean? So that's all for here. Satisfaction and abundance. Counting your blessings. Generosity. All right, let's clarify. Stingy Matt Gaetz. This is under Matt Gaetz. Stingy Matt Gaetz, wanting what he wants. You're not doing what we want you to do. Kevin McCarthy's card is the Nine of Pentacles. Constant effort. Material wealth. He's getting paid by somebody else, not Matt. He's like, Matt, you don't pay my bills. Matt, you're not donating to me. Over here, somebody's donating to me, but you're not donating to me, Mr. Matt. So he had no obligations to any promises, gentlemen's agreements that he had with any of the Freedom Caucus. What's under the swords? Seven of Swords. Oh, the Ace of Wands. Isn't that interesting? He is going to bring his staff to the floor with Kevin McCarthy. Matt Gaetz is. Absolutely. The new cycle. The expanding your potential. He's just like, I have this thing, I have this power, I have this weapon, and I'm going to use it. Again, two good cards. Does that mean Kevin McCarthy? I'm going to get some clarifiers. I'm going to get another deck and clarify if Kevin McCarthy keeps it. I have my situationals. Okay, let's see. Let's see what my situation is today. I'm going for four clarifier. Success could be because of Matt Gaetz, his wishes fulfilled, because he is at the root of this question and the success and the happiness of that. So Matt Gaetz could get what he wants. Well, let's clarify that. All right. One more. Okay. Up first, meetings. Okay, so he's meeting with two or more people to discuss the planning. So he has people on his side. So there's that. Under the Kevin McCarthy cards, lost. Cut off. I think Matt Gaetz is going to get what he wants. The obsession is underneath the Seven of Swords. The obsession, the betrayal, the deceit, the betrayal, the betrayal, the betrayal, the obsession with the betrayal. And Matt Gaetz having his weapon against the speaker. Okay, now this one is the Nine of Cups and the Sun. So this is the situational under the success cards. Lockdown, mental prison and confined. I think Matt Gaetz gets what he wants. To remove the speaker or to restrict him in some way. Ooh. So these next couple of weeks are going to be Fantastic. Well, they need this drama over here so that when Trump's trials over here, nobody's paying attention to them, right? They're always trying to grab and suck away the attention of their base to something else than to, of course, watch Donald Trump go down in history of the worst president on the face of this earth. So distraction possibly, but I think Matt Gaetz gets exactly what he wants, and the Freedom Caucus or whatever the demons that are following him at the time, I think they get what he wants. So now that we know that that question, let's go into one more question, and then we'll go. It's already a long video. So my second question is, will the Democrats be in charge of the House of Representatives when this is all said and done, before the election? So let's see what they do. I mean, they can't get the Republicans can't get anything done while they're in this turmoil. In a month from now, we're gonna have to do this all over again. You know, the budget shutting down, blah blah blah. But Matt Gaetz wants to be in a better position, so that they can do the worst of the worst amendments, send them to the Senate, and the Senate says no, and then say the Democrats won't pass it. The Democrats are shutting down this country, not us. We got our work done. That's what they're wanting. What they are not relying on is this, as the Americans are getting wiser and wiser to their antics. They can't play the same game on the field without us noticing a repetitive BS. There's that. Let's see. I know doggies. Doggies. You always have to have a word in edgewise. All right, here we go. 4 up. This is the question. I got the 7 of Cups right off the bat, the fantasy, wishful thinking, surprises and choices. I got the Queen of Swords, which is brilliant. Oh no. Oh no, the infighting and the money and all of that. So the Queen of Swords, so that means MTG is getting in there and swirling her power around. The infighting, because there's no money coming in. They're really, really fighting because they're poor. They are poor. Nobody. And I got the 9 of Cups. So there's some sort of wishful thinking, luxury, and generosity. But let's see what the next card is going to be. Fast movement and sudden changes in their comfort. There's going to be sudden changes in their luxury. Something is going to move in really fast and break up their satisfaction. The world is watching the completion, the success of the world, noticing their lies and deceits and the betrayal. Oh, we're coming to a completion of the acknowledgement of the Republican Party. Woo! That's good news, people. Completions means the end. This drastic maneuver that Matt Gaetz is involved in right now is going to backfire on them so badly that the completion of their party is ending. Mark my words. Remember, let this all percolate. I am now going into my situationals and seeing what we can do. Let's see what it says. One more time. One more shuffle. All right. One more cut. Okay, here we go. The delusion, the Queen of Swords, the delusion, the the MTG throwing out some wishful thinking, surprises and choices and fantasies and I mean, she's really good. Oh, the bounty hunter. She is after her power. She is going to seize the opportunity to try to grab power. That's going to be entertaining. All right, so now the money, the infighting about the poor, about them losing their money, about them not having the abundance that they used to have. What does this say? Pop up. Well, that's interesting. Spontaneous, unexpected surprise visit. Pop up in their money. They're gonna get some money from somewhere. Like somebody's paying them to cause all this chaos. If you do this, we're going to pay you money. Maybe. All right. So now we have the fast movement of the sudden change in their satisfaction. Realization, awareness, finding out, coming to light. So whatever their money situation is, it's going to come to light. Whatever that's, whoever is donating to them or something in their money situation is coming to light. The awareness is there. And it's going to happen quickly. It's fast moving. Their disruptions, I don't know why that light does that. There's disruption in their, wow, okay. The disruption in their money, in their donations and all that. We're going to find out. Oh, so the Seven of Swords and the world, the divine feminine. Now the divine feminine, okay, so the divine feminine has a couple of things. Like the divine feminine of women, they're not putting up with their BS anymore, and we're coming forth and we're gaining our power and we're saying what we want. You know, all of that is absolutely in play in all of this. But the divine feminine also sets the divine feminine. What do? We give birth. We have a womb. We have a nurturing side. We know how to fix things. We know how to do things. We know how to create a safe space for our children. We know how to nourish them. We know how to take care of our homes. So the divine feminine is coming into play, where all of these Republicans are not aware of the power out there of us. Sucks for them. It really does. And the last card, they're going to be crushed. Broken. Feeling alone. Again, people, we are in the Hail Mary final stages of the Republican Party. I just hope it ends sooner rather than later, but we are in its final stages. So stay safe out there and keep up the good fight. Support all of our Democratic House of Representatives, the Democratic House of Representatives, because they are doing a fantastic bang-up job. They are just coming to the, meeting the moment, and we needed them and we enjoyed them. So anyways, enjoy this mashup. Enjoy this mash, because my mouth didn't want to work at that time. Mash up of all the ones that I could acquire. I'm pretty sure there's probably more, but it was a fun day. Anywho, happy Sunday, everyone. Bye.
What's hearing actually about? It's a campaign strategy. It's a misuse of official resources. I think it's obvious who the grand puppet master is here. He tweeted about it on his own social. And we see the long arm, but little hands, of Mr. Donald Trump, whose fingerprints are all over this hearing and this sham impeachment.
Veteran of several impeachments said that an impeachment inquiry without a floor vote by the Congress would, quote, create a process completely devoid of any merit or legitimacy. Mr. Dubinsky, who said that?
I don't know.
Ms. O'Connor, Who said this?
No clue.
Mr. Turley? Who said this?
I made an objection along those lines to the earlier decision from Speaker Pelosi to go forward without a House vote, and I've made the same objection today, that I think the best practices in going forward is to do that. And what I've said in my testimony is that it's not required under the Constitution.
Correct. Professor Turley, give me my time. I agree with you. We're not talking about whether it's required legally. I'm just asking you, can you say again for the committee, do you know who made this statement, and if so, who?
I don't. I've made an objection along those lines.
Look, give me my time. This quote is a statement from now Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Let's pull back the curtain on what's really going on. There's no evidence of crime, only desperation and political pressure. This is what's going on. The far right called for the sham impeachment hearing with no evidence at the beginning of this year when we first got started. This impeachment inquiry has been going on. This is not the first hearing we've had in relation to this. On September 1st, the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, says, no, we're not going to do that. We don't have the evidence. We don't have the votes for it to pass on the House floor. We're not going to do it. A good decision, in my opinion. But then just 12 days later, 12 precious days later, something happens. I'm not sure what, but something happens, because then the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, comes out and says, yes, we will do an impeachment inquiry. So what happened between these 12 days? It's very simple. 3 threats from members of his own caucus at the direction of former President Donald Trump changed his mind. Number one, the threat to force a vote on impeachment, which would lose on the House floor and be another embarrassment in the long list of embarrassments this Congress for the Speaker of the House. Number two, they would threat to shut down the government, something that will happen in just 2 days. And number three, and this is the one that really got to him, they said, you about to lose your job. And they said, we will remove you as Speaker from the House. And that scared him so much that Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House of the United States of Representatives, third in line of the presidency, completely caved due to the threats of people within his own caucus.
As I prepared, I said, what is the crime? Because when you're talking about impeachment, you're talking about high crimes or misdemeanors. And I can't seem to find the crime. And honestly, no one has testified of what crime they believe the President of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago. When we're talking about somebody that's committed high crimes, it's at least indictments. Let's say 32 counts related to unauthorized retention of national security secrets, 7 counts related to obstructing the investigation, 3 false statements, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsifying business records, conspiracy to defraud the United States, 2 counts related to efforts to obstruct the vote certification proceedings, 1 count of conspiracy to violate civil rights, 23 counts related to forgery or false document statements, 8 counts related to soliciting, and I could go on because he's got 91 counts pending right now. But I will tell you what the president has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child. Until they find some evidence, we need to get back to the people's work, which means keeping this government open so that people don't go hungry in the streets of the United States. And I will.
Today, the Republican majority has called in 3 witnesses to advance their case. Mr. Turley, I have a simple question for you. In your testimony today, are you presenting any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
No, I'm not.
No, you are not. Ms. O'Connor, you are the second Republican witness here today. Have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Dubinsky, as the third and final Republican witness in this hearing, have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
And I want to explain why this is important. Members of Congress all of us in this hearing are not under oath, as we are presently covered by the speech and debate clause. Isn't that correct, Professor Gerhardt?
That is correct.
Mr. Moskowitz, it's your lucky day. You get 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's your lucky day. What a day we are having here, isn't it? Right? I mean, listen, as a former director of emergency management, I know a disaster when I see one. I mean, by the way, you don't believe me? Just ask Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon, your guy, just went on and said, you know, perhaps.
Who's guy, Steve Bannon?
Yeah, well, you know who Steve Bannon is. Perhaps Steve Bannon just went on and said perhaps the Republicans shouldn't have started with a witness. He was talking about Professor Turley, who was going to say right off the bat that there wasn't an impeachable offense. I quote, he says, perhaps we should have put him on the maybe list for one of our witnesses. So your other witness, Miss O'Connor, gave a complete recitation of the last 9 months, 8 months of these hearings. She went through some of the greatest hits that have come out, right? Everything that has been presented, you know, both in these committees that we've been having, on TV, all of the evidence that you guys have been presenting over the last 8 months, all of that together. And what does Professor Turley say? It says everything we know at this juncture doesn't rise to the level of impeachment. Boy, that is awkward. I mean, it's like political impeachment malpractice. But look, let's go back at some of the previous comments that my colleagues have given. So the chairman, and I have a slide, the chairman goes on Hannity, right? You guys all know Sean, you appear with him on Fox News all the time, right? And Hannity asks a softball question, right? This is a total softball. Do you believe that this is now officially the Joe Biden bribery allegation, and do you believe you will be able to prove it? The chairman should have just said yes, but nope, he says hope so, because he doesn't have any evidence. Couldn't say yes, right? Next slide, please. Then we have Senator Grassley. Grassley says what we all know out loud. We aren't interested in whether or not the accusations against Vice President Biden are accurate. Chuck, we know. We know you're not interested in the truth. Next slide, please. And then Donald Trump, you know, he's giving it all away. We know he doesn't. He likes to show his cards. He says, I think had they not done it to me, perhaps you wouldn't have it being done to them. And this is going to happen with indictments, too. So, you know, Donald Trump, the tough guy, right? What is he saying? He's teaching the lesson we all teach our kids, right? If they do it to you, go do it back. So look, we're all appearing now in the world's worst acted TV drama, right? It's been picked up for a second season, the Real House Republicans of Oversight. You know, perhaps the material's so bad due to the writer's strike. I mean, how many Republicans, Freedom Caucus members, part of the Chaos Caucus, have said there's no evidence to impeach Joe Biden? And again, of course, we know it's not about the evidence. Why? Here's a list of all of the articles of impeachment that have been filed by my colleagues, some that are on this committee. When was the first article filed? It was filed in January of 21, 2 weeks after January 6th. So before we had a single hearing, before they went through this myriad of phishing, they were filing articles of impeachment. Professor Turley, you said this doesn't rise to the level of impeachment, and you said they shouldn't prejudge. Well, here's a list right here of every single member, many on this committee, prejudging. They're filing articles of impeachment. COVID, Afghanistan, Hunter Biden, and they're all one-upping each other in the Donald Trump Friend Olympics, trying to get invited to the sleepover at Mar-a-Lago. Oh, I filed articles of impeachment against Merrick Garland. No, I filed articles of impeachment against Kamala Harris. Okay? It is ridiculous. But this is what this is about. Let me show you. It's a simple board, right? So all other presidents in the United States, 50% of the impeachments. Donald Trump, the other 50. Donald Trump has half of the impeachments in American history. But you know what? He's got 100% of the indictments. 100% of all indictments. 0 for the other presidents. Listen, let me do it another way. I want to channel my inner Tim Russert. So let me go to the board, right? And I don't have Florida. But Donald Trump, impeachments. Oh, how many impeachments? We got 2 there. How many indictments? We got 4. How many for Biden? 0, 0. Donald Trump is right. He's sick of winning. He's just winning, running away with it. And that's why we're here. We're here because of math. That's what this is about. They can't save Donald Trump. They can't take away the 2 impeachments and the 4 indictments, but they can try to put some numbers on the board for Joe Biden. But the problem is when you sling mud, you got to have mud. And they just don't have anything, Mr. Chairman. So look, we get it. We know why we're here. That's why they say the Biden family, the Bidens, James Biden, Joe Biden's dog, Commander, but not Joe Biden. Never Joe Biden. So when are you going to have the vote on impeachment, Mr. Chairman? What are you scared of? Call the vote. Come on. If you all think there's so much evidence, we're here. Call the vote on impeachment. Impeach him right now. I dare you.